The Los Angeles Dodgers tied their all-time franchise record with 106 wins in 2021. They got through 2 rounds of the playoffs, and then their wheels fell off, falling to the Braves in the NLCS. For most teams, this would be a pretty good season, but the Dodgers came into 2021 with the highest expectations imaginable. Coming off a World Series victory, signing the best free agent pitcher on the market, some people said they may be the best team of all time, but 2021 didn't go as planned. In fact, I would call the 2021 Dodgers snake-bitten. And despite all they went through, they still won 106 games and were 2 games from the World Series. Let's look at their season. Let's start with their former MVP, Cody Bellinger. He got the massive home run in Game 7 of the NLCS, breaking the tie that sent the Dodgers to the World Series. And then, bam! That armbar with Kike Hernandez led to shoulder surgery right after the season, but he was back for opening day, only to find himself spiked at first base during the first week of the season, fracturing his fibula, and he was gone for 46 games. But the beginning of the 2021 season went as planned. They lost the opener, but ran off 13 of their next 14, riding high with that 13-2 record. The hype train had left the station, but it derailed pretty quick. Between April 18th and May 9th, the Dodgers failed to win consecutive games, but they did have 2 or more losses in a row 5 times over that stretch. 13-2 turned into 18-17, a 5-15 stretch that included 3 walk-off losses and extras, and an extra inning record of 1-7 to that point. They had to win 5 of their last 6 extra inning games to finish the season 6-13. Yeah, they started off the season 1-12 in extra innings. It seemed like the game would outlast their bullpen, and even if they took a lead late, they were stuck trying to get a save from the last guy in the back of their bullpen, and that hardly ever worked out for them. Edwin Rios was having a miserable season early on, but in the past, he's been a dangerous power bat off the bench, and he's been able to fill in at first and third. After 60 games and an .078 batting average, he ended his season to have shoulder surgery. Corey Seager has proven to be one of the best players in the league when healthy, scoring NLCS and World Series MVP honors in 2020. And he seemed poised to have a full 2021 season, and he's out for 65 games with a fractured hand. Oh yeah, this was also within a day of when AJ Pollock missed 3 weeks with his first hamstring injury. But at the exact same time, they made a pickup that seemed questionable at the time. The recently cut former Angel, Albert Pujols. When the Dodgers got hot, they got hot. From 18-17 to 30-18, they won 12 out of 13, sweeping the Giants in San Francisco. But their streak came crashing down after losing 3 out of 4 to their rivals in LA, including that nasty one where Barnes saved the day, and Pujols almost became a hero, but Mike Tauchman said, not so fast. Yeah, instead of the 5th straight win against the Giants, that kicked off a 3-game losing streak. Cody Bellinger came back during that series with the Giants after being out for almost 2 months, but he was abysmal. By the All-Star break, he was hitting .176 with an OPS of .593. Just 4 homers in 34 games, and twice as many strikeouts as walks. Still, the Dodgers were 21 games over 500 at the break, and just 2 games back of the Giants. The rest of the month would be rocky, playing 1 game under 500, but losing 3 out of 4 against the Giants at home once again. Their one win was a thriller, Will Smith coming up with a 3-run walk-off homer to save the day. But the Giants plated 3 and 4 runs in the 9th inning in the next 2 games, tagging Kenley Jansen with back-to-back blown saves. Their second loss on July 22nd being especially painful, thinking they won on a force out that turned out to be overturned, and then had a blown call on a check swing that tied the game. This would even itself out later, if you know what I mean. The Dodgers came into the season with almost too much starting pitching, but when people start asking what they're going to do with 7 or 8 starters, you can laugh them off. Pitchers get hurt. It's what they do. Dustin May was on the mound in Milwaukee on May 1st when he had to leave the game in the 2nd inning. It looked serious at the time, and sure enough, his season was done and he needed Tommy John surgery. The Dodgers' other young gun suffered a huge setback on June 9th. Tony Gonsolin was gone for 60 games with an inflamed shoulder. Trevor Bauer was having an outstanding first half, but his win against the Giants on June 28th would be his last. On July 2nd, a woman filed assault charges against him, and he was placed on administrative leave. His leave would continue to be extended through the rest of the season. 5 days later, Clayton Kershaw landed on the 60-day IL with forearm and elbow inflammation, and he wouldn't be back till mid-September. The Dodgers suddenly found themselves searching for starting pitching. They signed Cole Hamels on August 4th, and they traded for Danny Duffy, but neither of them would be able to throw a single pitch for the team. But it was one other move on July 30th that made up for all their pitching woes, getting Max Scherzer and Trey Turner as a package deal from the Nationals. For all the stress the Dodgers had been under from April through July, they entered August 20 games over 500, and they were magnificent in the last 2 months of the season. A big part of that was Kenley Jansen. After the Giants debacle in late July, he was untouchable in August and September, notching all 16 of his save-offs. He was also the winning pitcher in 3 of his outings, and he was not pegged with a loss. His ERA over those last 2 months was 1.26. Filthy. The Dodgers were 43-13 over the final 2 months, but they just couldn't track down the Giants. They were 42-16 over the same stretch, and the Dodgers only picked up 2 games in the standings. The Dodgers did take a very short-lived half-game lead on September 1st, but that was erased right away when they went to San Francisco and lost 2 out of 3. They won 9 of the last 10 to make a mad dash at the Western Division, but the Giants only yielded 1 game over that stretch, and that 107-win team relegated the 106-win team to the wildcard game. The team was 50 games over 500. Someone had to have played well. Let's see the season's biggest stars. Chris Taylor had an all-star first half, 277 average, 10 homers, 43 RBI, and an 834 OPS. Max Muncy probably should have gotten the all-star start at first base over Freddie Freeman, hitting 19 homers, 52 RBI, and an awesome 972 OPS. While Taylor tapered off a little, Muncy finished strong, 36 homers, 94 RBI, 895 OPS in 144 games. When Corey Seager was on the field, he was spectacular with that 915 OPS, along with a 145 OPS+. AJ Pollock also missed a bunch of games with injuries, but he emerged as a valuable piece. He hit 21 bombs with a 297 average and an 892 OPS. Justin Turner led the teams in games played with 151, posting his usual solid 27 homers and 87 RBI, along with an 832 OPS. Will Smith had a great full first season, 130 games, 25 homers, and an OPS of 860. Mookie Betts didn't have his usual MVP season, but he still hit 23 homers and posted a very solid 854 OPS. Finally, Trey Turner came over and played 52 games, and all he did was hit 10 bombs, swipe 11 bags, hit 338, and post a 950 OPS. Their real stars came on the pitching side. They lost 4 starting pitchers during the season, and they ended up with not 1, not 2, but 3 Cy Young candidates. Max Scherzer started 11 games for the Dodgers, and he went 7-0 with a 198 ERA, posting a 246 ERA for the season overall. And nobody in the league had a better whip than Scherzer at 864. Walker Buehler started 33 games, winning 16 against 4 losses, posting a 247 ERA, 212 strikeouts, and a whip under 1. Julio Urias came in just behind Buehler with 32 starts, posting an ERA just under 3, and he led the majors with 20 wins. The Dodgers also had a terrific bullpen, with Kenley Jansen finding himself at the end of the year, and riding Blake Treinen in high-leverage situations all season. He was almost always up for the challenge. 72 games and a 199 ERA. They also found reliable relief arms in Phil Bickford, Joe Kelly, Victor Gonzalez, Alex Vesia, Brusdar Graterol, Justin Brule, Corey Knebel, and Jimmy Nelson, who had a great 186 ERA in 29 innings, but his season ended in August for Tommy John surgery. The Dodgers were rolling into the playoffs, but they had to go all in to avoid the wildcard game, and that cost them Max Muncy on the last day of the season, and none of their big 3 starters had their A game in the playoffs. Scherzer's best outing came in a loss to the Giants, where he pitched 7 innings and only gave up 1 run. He didn't get out of the 5th inning in his other 2 starts, and it was apparent by the NLCS that his arm was just worn out, having to bow out of Game 6, which sent the Dodgers home. Walker Buehler has established himself as a big game pitcher, but he posted an ERA pushing 5 over his 4 starts, and only in his loss to the Giants in Game 1 did he get out of the 5th inning. Julio Urias also had a forgettable postseason, posting a 5.40 ERA, and the low point was an ill-advised relief appearance in Game 2 of the NLCS, giving up 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th, allowing the Braves to tie it and set up their 9th inning walk-off. Cody Bellinger was a pleasant surprise, doubling his 165 regular season average in the playoffs, hitting 353, and picking up big hits in clutch spots. He drove in 7 runs, including the series winner in San Francisco, and the Game 3 bomb that saved the Dodgers from going down 3-0 in the NLCS. On the other hand, Trey Turner disappeared. He hit 216, only drove in 2, struck out 12 times and walked only once, only stealing 1 base. Joe Kelly and Justin Turner had injuries that ended their seasons a few games early, and you could see the wheels falling off the Dodgers' wagon by the end. The Dodgers were so good, and they were so deep, they could have a frustrating season and still win 106 games. They lost 12 of the 13 extra inning games, and they only posted a 24-24 record in 1-run games. On the other hand, the Giants were 31-17 in 1-run games, getting amazing, unexpected performances from Alex Wood, Anthony DeSclafani, Kevin Gausman, Logan Webb, and their veterans found the fountain of youth: Buster Posey, Brandon Belt, and Brandon Crawford. As Dusty Baker noted after his series with the Giants, whatever they needed, they seemed to get. The Giants had just about everything go right for them, and they managed to win 1 more game than the Dodgers. So in the end, I think the Dodgers could have been the best team in baseball history, but they were just so snake-bitten throughout the year. I watched nearly every Dodger game this year, and it was just weird feeling so frustrated with the team that had the 2nd best record in baseball. This is not me complaining, just observing. Every team has their problems throughout the year, but this is as bad as I've seen for any Dodger team in recent history. But this team is rich. They have a great front office, drafting well and making great trades. They'll be just fine going forward. Let me know if you have any thoughts on the Dodgers season. Love them or hate them. If you think I'm spot on or way off, sound off in the comments below. Before you leave, be sure to drop a like. It really helps me out with the algorithm. And give me a sub if you like baseball content. This is a new channel, and I'd love to have you on board. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.